Amazon Fire TV Stick differences, your options compared. Undecided whether or not you wish to purchase a brand new Roku Streaming Stick 4K or a brand new Amazon Hearth TV Stick 4K Max? We don't blame you. It's truly form of complicated. The explanation for that's each Roku and Amazon are on annual launch schedules for his or her celebrated streaming sticks, which might create quite a lot of confusion about what's truly new and whether or not it's price or cash. The excellent news? Each the Roku Streaming Stick 4K and Amazon Hearth TV Stick 4K Max appear to be well suited to deal with your streaming wants, and whereas there are some key variations between them, they've extra infrequent with each other than you may suppose. Distinction number 1, value. There's not a serious discrepancy in worth, however there's a slight distinction that's price stating. When it comes to pricing, you're taking a look at $49.99, £49.99, round 70 Australian dollars, for the Roku Streaming Stick 4K and $54.99, £55.99 Australian dollars for the Amazon Hearth TV Stick 4K Max. The Roku Streaming Stick 4K is a bit cheaper, due to this fact, however not by a lot. Distinction number 2, good platform. The bigger distinction between the two streaming sticks is the platforms you'll be utilizing if you flip them on. Within the case of Roku, that's Roku OS, whereas Amazon has Hearth TV. Total, we discover Roku OS to be a bit less complicated and useful, whereas Hearth TV is a bit flashier and content first. In the event you wish to be greeted by new present and film suggestions if you flip in your streaming machine, Amazon has that all the way down to a literal science. However, for those who are all about seeing all of the streaming providers at your fingertips, Roku has you coated. Distinction number 3, good assistant. Good assist could be exhausting to seek out on a streaming stick. The Amazon Hearth TV Stick 4K Max, fortunately, comes with Alexa on board with a voice assistant that you should utilize to speak onto the sensible assistant. Roku, then again, comes with a built-in Roku assistant that's, nicely, not almost as highly effective. Whereas Alexa can reply some fairly robust questions on just about every little thing, Roku's data is generally restricted to what actors had been where in movies and which director was on the helm of which film. Lengthy story brief: if you need the streaming keep on with the performance to unlock doorways and test on safety cameras, Amazon has it and Roku doesn't. Distinction number 4, Wi-Fi vary versus pace. Amazon and Roku selected to prioritize completely different features of their streaming sticks in 2021. The Roku Streaming Stick 4K gives a large-ranging Wi-Fi antenna that ought to have the ability to stretch from one finish of your house to the opposite, whereas Amazon targeted on pace with the setup of a Wi-Fi 6, 802.11ax, normal on its streaming stick. Which means, basically, is that the Hearth TV Stick 4K Max ought to have the ability to load content material quicker and barely must buffer. The Roku Streaming Stick 4K ought to present a bigger space of protection. The place it's going to nonetheless work. On this case, each have their benefits. Distinction number 5, Amazon has Luna, Roku has extra free content material. This in all probability gain't be related to everybody, however we'd be remiss if we did not less than point out Amazon's new game streaming service, Luna, and Roku's rising library of free reveals and films. Luna is a cloud gaming service that streams common video games for a set charge per 30 days, making it good for avid gamers who need the newest video games with none downloads, whereas Roku's collection of free reveals and films ought to appease cord cutters who need plenty of content material without having to pay for it. Similarity number 1, they've the identical apps, principally. In fact, these sticks aren't precisely polar opposites, both. One space that we see some clear similarities is of their app libraries. Each Amazon Hearth TV Stick 4K Max and Roku Streaming Stick 4K can enter various the identical providers. Netflix, Amazon Prime Video, Disney+, Hulu and Extra are all current and accounted for, which implies, no matter which participant you find yourself selecting, You don't have to fret an excessive amount about dropping out on any of the principal streaming providers. Similarity number 2, they arrive with a distant. One other good benefit of each gamers is that they arrive with a distant that works, precisely the identical. Each remotes can be utilized to manage the TV's energy and quantity controls due to HDMI SEC help, and also you'll discover shortcut buttons for the preferred streaming providers on each remotes. Similarity number 3, they provide 4K HDR playback. When you may see some minor variations in playback, you cannot discover any variations within the varieties of content material these gamers help. This era, each the Roku Streaming Stick 4K and Amazon Hearth TV Stick 4K Max help 4K decision, and each main type of HDR together with Dolby Imaginative and Prescient and HDR10+. Which means, whether or not you've received an LG, Samsung, Sony TV or one thing else completely different, it is best to have the ability to watch all of your favorite reveals within the highest attainable decision and codecs with whichever machine you need. Similarity number 4, they're compact streaming sticks, duh. Lastly, and it is a fairly apparent one, their kind elements are almost equivalent. Each are the scale of a couple of USB stick, and might squeeze behind your TV to remain hidden from sight. The streaming stick kind issue is nice if you need that clear look to your leisure middle or wall mounted TV, and each the Amazon and Roku gamers will present that for you. Thank you for watching this video. Subscribe. Don't forget to share.